All right, everyone, here we go with the notes for Chapter 16, talking about radio imaging as well as TV promos and movie trailers. Let's start off with imaging. The term imaging refers to the niche area of voiceover work that is specifically promoting a radio station's sound or marketing image. So all the little sweepers and liners that you hear that promote station events or different shows on your radio station, or even just the radio station itself. All of that is considered imaging. If imaging is something that you're interested in, you're going to need to know how radio stations promote themselves and how your voice will be used as an identifiable part of that promotion process. What tends to happen is that when your voice is used for imaging in radio, you tend to be associated as kind of the station voice, if you will. It's very identifiable. It's very unique. Whenever you hear that particular voice on that station, you know that that voice is going to tell you something about that station or talk about the station in one way or another. You're also going to need to understand the differences between the various radio formats. This is really important because the way that you would deliver a liner for a voice on a country station is going to be different than how you do it on an urban station. It's going to be different than how you do it on a rock station, on a classical station, all those sorts of things. Because the image that you're trying to present is the overall tone and attitude for the particular station. That's what we talk about when we're talking about a station's sound. It's the way that it creates its identity, really, and it does so rather through the audio and the way that that audio is presented when it goes out on the air. There's an article that is available, a link in your notes. I would encourage you to read from Gabrielle Nestico. She is a voiceover artist and a voice coach based in the Charlotte area. Radio stations want skilled voiceover actors and rarely, if ever, consider radio personalities for their imaging. So if you're someone that is wanting to be more of a personality, as someone that wants to be a disc jockey or talk show host or that sort of thing, you're probably not going to be an imaging voice. For most stations, imaging is an effective way to quickly deliver station-related information and to do so powerfully. You only have generally maybe somewhere basically 10 seconds or less in most cases to be able to deliver the different lines that you deliver as a radio image person. So it has to be succinct, clear, direct, to the point. Imaging offers a freedom that's not found in other types of voiceover. Not only can you change the copy a station sends you, you can also ad-lib, you can embellish, you can rewrite all or part of whatever you want. As a matter of fact, generally, in most cases, stations love it when creative input is given from their VO talent. It's one area where creativity is very much encouraged. So if you're someone that has a way with words, you're very witty, you're good with puns, twisting words around, that sort of thing, and you can deliver lines of text with a certain amount of confidence, radio imaging might be good for you. Now, the television promo. A little bit of a difference here when we're talking about promos versus trailers. Promo voiceover work usually refers to television station promos. We can talk about it in terms of radio as well, but more so, we generally talk about TV. Trailer voice work refers to the promotion of motion pictures. So, trailer work usually tends to be a little bit longer in length. Trailers can go for anywhere from 30 seconds to 60 seconds to couple 3 minutes long. Promos tend to be always shorter pieces of work. As the voiceover world has become more niche-oriented, the two genres of voiceover work, TV promo and trailer, have each become specialties in their own right. You have a pretty significant difference between the way that you would approach a television promo versus a theatrical trailer. There tends to be a different attitude. There tends to be a different take on the premise of what it is that you're doing. There's kind of a different methodology, philosophy, if you will, behind the way that you promo something for TV as opposed to doing a trailer for a theatrical movie. Television stations present a specific image in their market. Each station or network has its own look and sound. You'll talk about this if you haven't already had Intro to Broadcasting class or Broadcast Programming class. The way that a television station positions itself with its promos is doing so to create a certain image and a certain reputation within its community. And it wants to have a certain aura about it that the station is known for this particular type of programming or this particular attitude towards the way it presents its content for the people in its market. So the way that promos are going to be done for a particular station are going to have different attitudes and feelings, much in the same way that imaging for radio is done with different attitudes and feelings based on the format of the station that you are working for. Working as a television promo voice talent can often mean that the talent is the voice or perhaps one of the voices of the television station. Very much in the same way, again, that radio imaging is, where there's that one voice that tends to speak on behalf of the station. In TV, it's becoming more and more common to kind of segment that out, that you might have a particular voiceover person for news types of content versus comedy type of content versus drama type of content versus sports. It's becoming more and more specialized in that way. Today, the major networks will use many different voice talent for different aspects of their promotion because of that. You're speaking to different audiences and trying to attract them, and different voice styles and different voices are going to gravitate more towards certain demographics. TV promo work is about telling the story of the program being promoted or the station's sponsored event in a manner that is appropriate to that story. You're trying to engage with the audience when you speak. It's not so much being about a voice god as much as it is relating to people, convincing them that the content that you're talking about is something that the public should be interested in. So it is becoming more and more kind of casual, more intimate, although there still is that certain aspect of authority, especially when it comes to things like news product and sports product. But it's not as strong as perhaps it would be with radio imaging in certain formats, and then with movie trailers, as we'll talk about in a bit. News promos will often have a somewhat detached sound with a sense of drama and urgency underscoring the delivery. So in that case, especially when you're talking about hardcore, hard-hitting news or investigative reporting, sometimes those sorts of voiceovers will not necessarily be as connective and storytelling as much as it is trying to create that urgency, that listen up. You need to tune in. You need to catch what it is that we're going to talk about on the news. It's still storytelling. It's still storytelling, rather, but it's more so in that whole grab you by the shoulders, shake you until your attention is got sort of thing. Now, as far as trailers, trailer work will generally treat almost every word and phrase as the most important, dramatic, or impactful word or phrase ever spoken. Yeah, very much kind of that over-the-top sort of delivery. The style is often one in which the voice actor is less involved with the characters and moves the story forward with a very dramatic, detached, or almost announcery sort of delivery. So again, this is one of those areas where it tends to be a little more old school. It tends to not be so much trying to develop a relationship with the audience as much as it is to grab attention and to build up the suspense and the drama and those sorts of things. So some tips for performing imaging, promo, and trailer. We've seen this tip quite a bit in the past few chapters. You are a storyteller, and stories are always about relationships. Even if you're a little more detached in doing some of these types of work, there's still a story that's being told. You're telling the story about the programming, about the movie, about what the radio station identity is, whatever it may be. So you're still telling a story and you're still trying to connect with an audience, even if it's not so much in that casual, intimate sort of way that we've talked about a lot over the course of this class. So you want to look for the message, the image, the feeling, or the unique quality of the program or the station or the movie that you are talking about. What makes it one of a kind? What makes it that people should be attracted to it as opposed to another radio station, another TV station, another movie? Bring that out and bring it to life. Determine the creative strategy that will enable you to build the dramatic tension and allow for expression of the message. So again, what is the premise? Really pull that out. Really emphasize that. Draw the attention to, if it's the station that really rocks, or the place where you can listen at work all day long. Whatever it is, make sure that you pull out that premise, make that the important part, because you only have a limited amount of time. In the case of radio imaging, a very limited amount of time, maybe less than 10 seconds, to be able to get that message across. Finally, deliver the first line of the copy in a way that will interrupt the listener's thoughts and bring them in to listening to what you have to say. You have to capture their attention very quickly because you don't have a whole lot of time for the entire message as a whole. So there you go. There's chapter 16. You notice your page continues on. Chapter 17, we'll cover that in the next video.